got the club going up. On a Tuesday, got your girl in the color sheet. Tuesday, club going up. On a Tuesday, got your girl in the color sheet. Tuesday, club going up. On a Tuesday, got your girl in the color sheet. Tuesday, club going up. On a Tuesday, got your girl in sheet. Tuesday, working Monday night. On the corner flipping hard.
Good morning. Good morning. This is Chris Johnson Live. I am KJ. Today's guest on the show is a NBA veteran of over 8 years, spent another 5 years playing on the international level. When he retired, he transitioned seamlessly into the business world, working as a consultant before ultimately taking a position as Chief Strategy Officer at a startup called Officialize. Now, after 2 years at Officialize, he took his destiny into his own hands and launched a successful digital media production house called Media 34. He is currently an executive producer on the smash hit show, The Barnes Boys Podcast. He is one of the realest dudes I know and an OG in the game. Our guest at 10 a.m. will be none other than the real Jelani McCoy. Will be in the building. Shout out to everybody. This is Chris Johnson Live. Thank you for joining. Just kind of wanted to come on before the show just to try to recap what's been happening with the show over the last maybe 28 days. So 28 days ago, I started this thing. I wanted to reach out to some folks to have some conversations that, I didn't really realize were going to go so public, but they did. And so guys were willing to talk. With the pandemic and Kobe passing and then ultimately Tiger getting hurt, it was sort of a thing where it was like, man, anybody could just go. Anybody could be taken from us at any given moment. I'm the type of person that would beat myself up for the rest of my life if, I wasn't able to talk to somebody and they weren't here anymore. That would kill me. That would crush me. And so I started to reach out to people. I started with my UCLA network of friends, colleagues, coaches, people that have crossed my path during my walk, my journey, and people that I had good relations with, good energy with. And so, we knocked it out. So I've done around, this would be interview number 36 in 28 days. Truly appreciate all the positivity and support that people are offering. It's been amazing, the outpouring of love. I'm getting tons of requests for people to show up on the show. Going to have a big week planned for you guys next week. And to the people that have been negative in the comments and the negativity of the DMs, it's fine. I have no problem with the negativity. Some people that I consider friends are being negative. That's okay. I'm not on that. I'm plugged into a different wave. I'm on the algorithm right now, so I'm gonna ride my wave. And sometimes you got to tighten your circle. And you just got to let people go. And there's nothing against those people. I still love them, but I'm just not rocking. And it doesn't matter who it is. It could be a friend, a family member. If they're not plugged into your energy, and it's disrupting your day in any way, you don't need to deal with it. Because that's the only way you can maximize your potential is by plugging into your energy and not letting anyone disrupt it. It has to be a 24-hour thing. So if anybody tries to come in, anybody, a girl, homies, it doesn't matter. Cut them off. Cut them off if they're not riding your way. Cut them off, because that's how you got to get there. Shout out to Brandon Willis. Thanks for reaching out today, B. Will. I'm going to hit you up. Man, this thing has been going crazy. You can check my page. I've been knocking stuff out on the daily, 36 episodes, 28 days, bruh. So time is, you know how I go. But appreciate you reaching out. Happy to hear about Mexico, my man. Going to check out the videos. Always one of the best shooters I ever saw. So keep going, bro. Keep playing. Keep hooping. There's light at the end of the tunnel, my brother. The road may seem like it's not a lot of light, but you just got to stay on it, man. You got to trust, bro. You got to trust. Shout out to Russell. Russell, we go back in the day to the Hilton days, the Real Run days. Shout out to Russell. Always looked out for us at the Hill Tone, as DA would say. Thanks for joining, man. I like your page, man. I like what you do over there on the kind of the tourism. I wouldn't say tourism. I don't know how to call it. Hospitality, tourism side. I mean, you're showing food, you're showing leisure activities. I always like checking in and checking out Russell of Hotels on Instagram. That's always a nice little page to kind of brighten your day and, you know, keep you going. So in 3 minutes, Jelani McCoy will be on the show. Excited to talk about Jelani. For those of you that don't have a ton of background on me and Jelani, we played together in college. We're roommates. You know, went through a lot together, some ups and downs at the University of California at Los Angeles. Remained friends through the years, and are still close to this day. Jelani actually coached with me in 2015 when I was coaching my son William. Him and Ryan Forehand Kelly. That was my staff. Now the assistant coach for the Brooklyn Nets, Ryan Forehand Kelly. And we did really well. You know, we had some players. We had some hitters. We were getting to a couple of Final Fours, but I don't think we really lived up to our potential. And a lot of that was on me. But anyway, shout out to Global Kid Media. Great to see you as always, young man. Keep up the great work. You're getting some really good interviews. I skim by your page occasionally. I always see you with somebody. You're really aggressive. I like it. Keep that up. You're going to be good. I didn't see the UCLA post, but keep up the good work. In 2 minutes, we're going to have Jelani McCoy join the show. Yesterday, I had former UCLA head coach Ben Howland. Ben Howland was on the show breaking down UCLA's opponent on Sunday, the University of Alabama. Let me repeat that. I had Mississippi State head coach Ben Howland on the show yesterday. He's in the NIT, by the way. He was riding to shoot around when I caught him. But he came in and broke down Alabama, man. We were so blessed and lucky and fortunate to have that man on the show breaking down the UCLA opponent. Coach Ben Howland, always been one of the realest ones in the game. I think people kind of got him twisted. They don't know where time it really is with Coach Howland. He is definitely one of the realest, man. Definitely. I'd like to thank him for coming on. Had a great conversation yesterday with Ryan Moose Bailey, the head coach at Brentwood High School out here in sunny Southern California, the 2018 Division II State Coach of the Year. Had a really good conversation. Guys should check that out. And all the videos and all the stuff. I'm undergoing a process of cleaning up my IG, sort of organizing things, adding some things, trying to tighten it up. It's tough when you have a very small staff. Shout out to my staff of one person that I work with. Shout out to them. They are amazing. They help me get a lot of things done. But that's it. I don't have a big staff. It's just me, and the OG, Jelani McCoy, has joined the chat, so it's going to be time to bring in big fella. So, Lon, if you're joining from a computer, it's not going to work. Is that the case? Oh, there you go. Lon's back on. Okay, great. Great. See if we can get Lon in here. Get Lon up it. Oh, okay. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good evening. Good night. Good morning.
It's good morning. Good
morning. Might be good evening in Qatar, sir. You know what I mean? Don't play me like that. What's up, KJ Live?
Man, I'm chilling, man. Thanks for getting up and doing this. That's a great painting behind you. What is that? That's some sick
that's that
Kanye.
Luscious Eyes Red. And ironically, I believe Earl Watson also owns a copy of that painting. So you know how the UCLA Brotherhood
Golly, you guys, see, that's above my pay grade line. Unfortunately, I didn't make the league. I didn't make the league. I didn't make the league, so I can't afford that.
It wasn't a large buy. You know what I mean? It's just something that you saw, you know what I mean? You allocated some funds to it. It's not a big thing.
I heard that, man. So what you been up to lately?
Man, right now I'm just spring cleaning, man. We nesting. We getting away. Getting away of a lot of old vibes, you know what I mean? Getting ready for some new vibes, getting ready to graduate, you know what I mean? A kid at a fifth grade, that's a big deal.
Wow.
So we just been nesting low key, getting ready for the spring and summertime, getting ready for this thing to be open back up so we can see friends and family closer, like you know what I mean, a lot more like we were accustomed to doing, and even doing it more now that we've been in under these conditions and whatever, all the crazy stuff going around the world Had a chance to catch up with some great friends last night. I'm still charged from that. We did the OG San Diego bonfire last night,
Oh, what was that?
safely, of course. You know
What
what I
was
mean?
that?
So
What was that,
I'm
man? What was that? What was that? The OG San Diego
the
bonfire. What was
OG
that?
San Diego. I don't know if you know from Dago, man. We bonfire down here. You know what I mean? We didn't really, we not the club thing. After high school, we used to have bonfires after games, and you know what I mean,
Wow.
and things like that, where everybody from every high school would come over to the bonfire. It used to be scraps. You know what I mean? You used to be able to get to some of the other chicks from other high schools if that was your deal. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a
Wow.
Dago rite of passage. The
Wow.
bonfire, brother. The
Okay.
bonfire.
Keeping it real early in the AM on KJ Live, ladies and gentlemen. Jelani McCoy, Lon. So being born, what part of San Diego though were you born? The actual neighborhood?
I was actually born, and Ray's gonna love this. I'm actually born in the town. I'm actually moved here from the town, East Oakland, Viola Street,
Okay.
here in the fourth grade. Then I moved to another rough part, Southeast San Diego, the Dip. If you're familiar, you know what I mean. I live right on the Dip, you know what I mean, right down the street from the Four Corners of Death here in San Diego. So I'm from Southeast at the end of the day.
Shout out to Tracy Murray. Shout out to
T.
everybody that's
Murray.
in the chat right now. I saw Life Sports Agency. I think that might be Todd creeping. He
That
might
might
be
be Ty,
creeping.
the negotiator.
The Majajular. The
The
Majajular.
Majajular. I was also represented by Todd for a little while. So he got me a gig in Atlanta. So
Okay.
you know what I mean. Todd has been doing his due diligence for the Bruin Brotherhood.
Todd's a good dude. Talk about growing up though in Oakland and spending those few years. And why did you guys move? It's you and your mother, correct?
Yes.
Why did you and your mom move down to San Diego?
Dad stepped out, did what he did. You know what I mean. They got a divorce. You know what I mean. My mother's family was from San Diego. She got about 9 brothers and sisters. They all drove here from Monroe, Louisiana. So growing up in the Southeast was tough. Moving from Oakland, which was a much more cultured. The culture in Oakland is different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Knowledge itself. You know what I mean? We talking about the early '80s. Background of Pantherism. You know what I mean? All that stuff. I did a lot of knowledge itself. A lot. They're big in education system is a little bit better up north, unfortunately. So moving to Southeast San Diego, I was talking with the right diction. I was light skinned. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure you hear everybody's story. I know Kenyon has talked about it. Matt has talked about it. You know what I mean? Although I was obviously, a light-skinned brother. I got called white boy. I got, called, made fun of for the way that I was talking with correct English. But at the end of the day, I used that to mold me, you know what I mean, and learn my environment. I moved a lot, you know what I mean. I got people all up and down from California, from SAC to, you know what I mean, to here. So I just was learn how to master my environment, you know what I mean, and learn how to move around and make myself, you know what I mean, make myself present in the environment, even though I wasn't from there. You know how we do.
So basically a chameleon, right? Just kind of you're able to adapt and adjust
I
to
wouldn't
any
call it a
environment.
chameleon. I would say it's a renaissance man. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Chameleons, that can be taken in a different context, in conversations between me and you.
Oh, really?
Because some chameleons ain't cool. They ain't always cool to change colors, wherever you at.
See, now you're talking about shapeshifters. So now we're getting into a different type of thing. This is a family show, Lon. It's too early in the morning for this shit.
Yeah, no, we'll do this on the late night. You said shapeshifter. But yeah, I'm totally willing to go Joe Rogan with you on one of these things.
Oh, please, we can go Joe Rogan all day. But let's keep it online. But Lon, so I guess when did you figure out that sports was an option for you?
Early. My dad was a professional football player. He still holds a lot of records in rural Arkansas for the high school that he went to. I think he spent some time with the Pittsburgh Steelers on their practice squad. So
wait, he's from Arkansas?
Blytheville.
What? Where does that by? Is that by Fayetteville?
Man, that's I think by Little Rock a little bit, but
by the Ozarks and shit.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Country strong.
Country. I've been back there too. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing cool about it. It was the time Milli Vanilli's album was out. Whatever year that was at, 88, whatever. So we took a trip out there, and I was like, yo, I'm pretty sure I ain't never got to live in the South Pop. So this was cool, but let's push this thing back to the West Coast.
And so you figured out early because Pops had you in. So football or basketball was your first love?
Man, everybody want to put on the helmet and get on the gridiron and bang around a little bit, you know what I mean? But as I started stretching out a little bit, actually track, Loco. I got hella track medals that, I just found. I ran high jump, long jump,
Yeah.
40-yard dash,
It doesn't
100.
it doesn't surprise me. We'll touch. I mean, so let's just touch on it now.
Yeah.
So when we're in college, Jelani's 6'10". At the time, you're about what? 204, 205.
For sure.
So anyway, we're working out on the track and we're running 40s and then we're running 200s and 100s. And Jelani's 40. I think he ran like a 4.6 or 4.58 at your best. 4.6, 4.58 at 6'10". You and Oma. So Oma's a 7-footer. You guys were dusting my ass, but you guys were 6'10", 6'11". It was one of the most incredible sights I'd ever witnessed, like two gazelles just galloping down the track at high speeds. That's when I knew something was different about you. That's why track makes sense, Lon. But how did you take the track stuff and how did you apply that to basketball?
Because speed translates to leaping ability. At the end of the day, if you love watching these guys, they do the 4.2, 4.9, 40, they almost guaranteed to be doing a 40-inch vertical. You know what I mean? So I started realizing that the speed, you know what I mean, especially for a big, a lot of big guys were oafus, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big feet. They didn't really have a sports performance over the top of it yet.
Yeah.
So what I did with the 205 was remain nimble, you know what I mean? I don't have real big feet. I think I play in the 15. I walk around in the 14. So I was able to just translate that speed to a thing that I knew the big dudes wasn't doing, and I knew it was going to be a problem for. So, and shout out to Oma. When I was, being recruited by UCLA and I was reading some of the things that Oma was doing, I knew he ran that 40 time. That was like the thing they always talked about. So I knew if there was ever a chance that I was going to race, against Oma, I was going to try to beat him. So, you know what I mean? Some of that is willpower and some of that is just, just being blessed with, some attributes.
Yeah, shout out Rico Hines in the building. Hines Ward. But Lon, again, that the people have to understand that was an incredible feat of just physical stuff. And we're surrounded on the UCLA track. We're surrounded by Olympians. We're surrounded by world championship level caliber athletes, coaches, the whole nine. And you two had like, I think John Smith and some other guys. Bob Kersey was out there too. Legendary track coaches, just like in awe, watching you 2 6'10" dudes just hit that 4.6. You never did the surfer skater thing in San Diego?
I did.
Okay, talk about that.
Why would you mention that? Yes,
just curious because your fashion sense, it strikes me as one that grew up in skater culture.
There you go with that again. With that, you tried me like this in Vegas when we was coaching about my skater references.
I was curious.
I did do the skateboard thing, you know what I mean, until I got a little bit too tall in the fall. Got to be, skateboarders are like 5'7", 5'6" at the end of the day.
Could you ollie?
I could ollie. It wasn't the greatest ollie.
Come on, Lon. Was it a clean ollie? Was it a clean ollie, bro? I
could get away with the basics. You know how brothers are. We get on there, we do something just to be, okay, you can ride, but we ain't gonna let you see the stuff we can't do. You know,
Black people can do anything. You have to understand.
You just leave us with it for a couple minutes. And don't be all over the top of us. You know what I mean? Trying to analyze us. Just leave it alone with us, and we are gonna figure it out. We at least gonna pass the eye test for a minute. Sure.
What about surfing?
I didn't do the surf.
Boogie board?
Too cold, not about to be in the water. No, wasn't really digging the body glove suit. That wasn't a thing. The tight joint. The tight joint, the long leg with the tight joint. Not about to get up early in the morning to go fight over one wave. They got all kind of rules, and
fight over one wave.
No, that's one wave, man.
Shout out Toby Bailey, Faraz joining the chat. Swish Pro-Am in the building.
Swish Pro-Am.
Yeah, that's tight, man. So we got the crew. We got the crew in here. So let's move it forward to sort of like 8th, 9th grade.
Yeah.
Talk about the decision-making process and how you chose the school that you attended for high school.
Oh man, I went to St. Rita's, you know what I mean, a parochial school right down the street from my house in Southeast San Diego. And Saints is renowned in San Diego. Is probably the most in they send the most kids to college out of rural San Diego. You know what I mean, out of the community for real, for real.
Okay.
So it's like by now it's like a 90-something-year-old institution. So all boys school. Everybody can't get in. You know how I am. There's an entrance exam. Everybody can't get in.
Yeah.
It was a very prestigious place, and that was just somewhere that I wanted to go to. I was big on academics. I was doing well academically. Saw a couple of people, Father John, Mr. Cadal, a couple of people came to my school at St. Rita's, and they just laid it out, man. And I just loved it from the get-go. You know what I mean? The colors, the fact that it was an all-boys school.
What were the colors? What were the
Purple
colors?
and gold, player. But
Oh,
like the
purple
Notre
and gold.
Dame gold, we had the Notre Dame gold helmets with the purple face mask. I actually
Wow.
found my football helmet. We're doing this spring cleaning. I had the visor. I was like a
Wow.
6'6" free safety and wide receiver. Had the gold
Free
helmet,
safety?
free safety. And I was like Cam Chancellor,
How?
loco.
How are you doing that? How are you like Cam Chancellor in the Legion of
Because I
Boom?
played with Daryl Russell, rest in peace. You know what I mean? Fred Jones, two of my best
Rest in
friends
peace, Daryl.
played in the NFL from the same high school, from the same neighborhood. So I was footballed out, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I was just getting it off, just being aggressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a chance for me to let out some aggression. I'm my only child. I just moved to San Diego, went through the St. Rita's thing. So it was just another place for me to get out some aggression and be aggressive, man, at the end of the day. And it helped
What
basketball.
what's the experience like though going to an all boys school?
Beautiful.
Why?
I ain't gonna even front. First of all, we had the all girls school OLP, right? You know what I mean? Located,
How far
not
away
too.
was that? How far away was
We'll
it?
get you about 5 minutes. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
life
Yeah,
is life is okay. Life is okay.
yeah,
Life is
yeah. You
okay.
know
All
what I'm
right, all
saying?
right, all
Yeah,
right, all right, all right, all right,
yeah.
all right.
I don't even, it was all good. The education was good. The camaraderie was good. When we were there, we had this influx of Mexicans from Tijuana, black kids from Southeast. You
The
know what I
melting
mean?
pot.
It was just like this weird, you know what I mean? Just
Energy.
energy there with this great dude, Father John. He should be up for like sainthood. Rest in peace, Father John.
Rest in
It was
peace.
it was just great. It was just a great place to mold. I challenged the establishment there. I'm a Christian, but I'm not Catholic, so I used to do things like talk about the Bible and get in trouble for saying stuff like it said he had hair of wool and his skin was bronze, player. You know what I mean? Like I be doing that type of stuff in the religion classes. And Father John was so dope that when I used to disrupt class like that, he would invite me to the office and we used to do things like read the Quran. We helped me read through the Torah.
The
You know what I
Torah.
mean? So whatever scripture that it was, he actually led me through that. He read those, and we would talk about the similarities between that and Catholicism and the Jesuits and everything. So it was just an enrichful environment everywhere you turn, and it just allowed me to be myself.
What are the similarities that you found between Islam, Judaism, and Christianity?
They're the same stories told in different ways in different regions. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff we come from. That's why I'm real big on tolerance, because a lot of these stories and beliefs we have are the same. They're just different rituals,
Right.
different places of geographically where these stories are told. I'm a firm believer. I saw this word for what I think I am in a book that I was reading the other day. But I'm a firm believer. I take bits and pieces from each and every different religion. I'm spiritual. I'm not religious. I take different pieces from every different religion
Yeah.
and form what I know. You know what I mean? Traveling around the world to China, the Middle East, Italy, Spain. You know what I mean? It starts to reshape your opinion about spirituality. So I just took what
Absolutely.
I needed from the places where I was at. You know what I mean? And, basically form my own, spirituality.
Talk about the day that you first met Daryl Russell.
Ooh, man. I first met Daryl at St. Rita's. You know what I mean? Just a big, goofy dude. I actually tried to go at all my friends. I think even you. I think I tried to go at y'all. It must have been something with the not need and the 205. I didn't really, everybody calling me skinny and slim. They didn't think I had no hands. So you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I met Daryl at St. Rita's, shy. But when we went out to the playground, it was huge, big high booty. We are no freaky, but
The
we
high
have
booty, the high booty though, the
brown
high booty.
corduroy pants and a white shirt is our uniform. So I think I used to clown him like, who is this big? Like, come on, man.
Not the high booty.
This big, man, come on, big
Oh my
fella. They
God.
got you in here like that.
Oh my
And we
God.
went out to the playground. We playing tag or dodgeball or whatever game it is. Bro, he's just as fast as all the little kids and myself. And I'm like, hold on, bro. That ain't right. You know what I mean? I thought this was a whole nother. I thought he was Snacks.
That's not fair.
I'm trying to call him Snacks. Or,
Snacks.
You
thought you were going to get that off.
Guy stuff, you know what I mean? But dude is out here looking like an athlete. And I tried to pick a fight with him, dude. He kind of like laughed it off. D ain't really, he ain't really about that because at the end of the day, he could snap somebody in half if he wanted to.
Yeah.
So we just hit it off. The next year, I met Fred, who also played in the NFL for 5 years. I tried to fight him. He slammed me on the ground because I was making fun of his penny loafers when he had just moved here from the Philippines. So
wow,
that was kind of like my MO. Just throw my skinny frame into the fire, you know what I mean, and get to capping and see what happened. But at the end of the day, we formed some unbelievable bonds and friendships and pushed each other to become some amazing athletes and men.
Yeah. So Daryl and Fred excelled in football. Lon stuck it out on the basketball floor. Daryl and Fred, obviously All-American, big time. You were the basketball virgin, the McDonald's game. It kind of culminated in 1995, correct? Or which game did you play in? 95 McDonald's game. So let's talk about that game. Talk about some of the players that were there. Where was it at? How was the experience for you?
Man, it was cracking. I mean, cracking, bruh. Cracking. You know what I mean? St. Louis, you know what I mean? I think that Billikens Arena was brand new. Remember when they faced? Yeah.
Yeah, looked nice.
So, man, we talking about KG, Vince Carter, Antoine Jameson, Chauncey Billups, Stephon Marbury, Chris Clack.
What?
What Ryan Roberson that went to Kansas.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan Luther Robertson. Clay.
Luther Clay was the monster. Luther Clay was
a whole bunch of like damn near Hall of Paul Pierce who broke the scoring. You know what I mean? The Truth actually broke the scoring record in my jersey because they stole his jersey the previous night before. If you go back and look at the footage,
Des McCoy.
He has number 35 because they gave him 34 because he is from LA and he was the California State Player of the Year. I got it, but Paul Pierce, Sham God. Yeah, I'm talking heads. Tractor Trailer, Sharif Abdul-Rahim. One and dones. Hall
of Fame. At the same game.
In the same game.
So let's hear about this. Let's hear about what are the practices competitive? Were you guys going at each other's head?
The practices were some of the most intense, not suitable for children things you have ever seen. You got me and KG turned up. Arguing, throwing stuff out of bounds, screaming in the empty practice place. The coaches just put their whistle away because it just took on a whole life of its own. It's like, what are the plays? What are we going to do? And they just rolled the ball out. So it was a lot of back and forth, you know what I mean? I remember even a couple players like tapping out, like, hey, man, I ain't going to mention no names, you know what I mean? They went on to have great careers, but they're like, hey, can we just play basketball? And, we like me, like yourself, like we like it when it's nasty. Like I can play when it's nasty. So you know what I mean?
Sure.
A couple people couldn't, but the practices were amazing. We broke the records for dunks in the game. KG was out there doing some remarkable stuff. Paul was, you know what I mean, broke Michael Jordan's scoring record. It was just a phenomenal experience.
What was it about Kevin Garnett that made him so phenomenal as a basketball player?
First of all, he's going 7 feet. You know what I mean? Don't forget KG for real is like 7 feet, 7'1". Yeah, honestly. He was on the 205 too.
Yeah, the 195. The 195.
Yeah, he might have been the one. Yeah, he might have been the 195, 197, you know what I mean? But ambidextrous, footwork, again, speed, fast, gazelle. We matching, you know what I mean? I'm running up the other side, he running upside, we meeting at the rim. Just phenomenally fast, man. Just unbelievably fast. Fundamentally sound. I think that's a thing that he doesn't get credit for. It doesn't have a lot of holes in his game. Everything was tight. You know, the
Jump
KG,
stops,
the jump stop in the
jab
middle
fake.
and just
Yeah.
be long and shoot over the top of you. You know, to just be long and shoot
The
over the top of
extension,
you.
the
Full
KG jumper.
extension. Not a lot of wasted movement. The big high jumper from 15, 20. You know,
Ludicrous.
all the facialist, you know, he passing you.
The gum chew, the hard gum chew, the
Exhale,
the
you know what I mean?
breathing.
Just expressive, bro. Just, you know, it was a beautiful thing because that was something that I got a lot of flack for in college and pros, was being so expressive when I played.
Yeah.
I'll always admire him for being the person that got to push the bar forward as far as playing with a sense of joy and intensity. Because you know how we are, coach. If we can punk you in a game or a workout or a situation, we're going to punk you. Because if you're not mentally fit up here, ain't no need to even go into my physical bag.
Right.
I'm going to just rent real estate, you know what I mean?
All
let
day.
you smoke layups, let you worried about what I'm talking about. Now you irritated because we doing dumb stuff to you. So it's mental warfare, you know what I mean, at the end of the day.
Some people would say that that's sort of mean, it's abusive, it's like, you know, it's a tactic that, you know, shouldn't be included in the game today. So as you see today's game, it's less about punking you and it's more about your skill set and getting to the three and then. So what do you think about that? What do you think
what
about
it might say in
90%, 90? Oh,
don't play.
Oh yeah. Then what he was like.
You don't like the way I play? You don't like the way I go about it?
Yeah.
Don't play. Don't watch me. You know what I mean? I've always been raised around winning.
Right.
Personal goals, averaging 30. You know, I think it's whack. The dudes, you know, we didn't lose. I had 30. Y'all lost. That seems to be the sentiment around the kids now. I got mines off. You know what I mean? Nah, you didn't get yours off. We didn't get ours off.
Off, bro.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it was all about getting ours off. And like I said, if intensity is here to stay. I ain't really with, you know, that's wrong, that's bullying and all that stuff. You know what I mean? To me, bullying is allowing yourself or allowing somebody not to reach their fullest potential because somebody is out there calling them names or being mean or putting them, you know, up against it or putting them in some sense of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Adversity.
That's the exact word, and that's why you KJ Live.
Well, we used to be roommates. We were roommates. So we do this.
Yes. Putting up against some sense of adversity, even if it's for 4 quarters, you know, we just, you know, especially for boys, some of the boys out here, they're taking the aggressiveness away from them, not letting them be boys and jump around and be noisy. So I just think that, you know, it's got to go somewhere. You know what I mean? And I'm glad who's just stepped up and said, Kelly Oubre.
What did he say?
Said that, you know, basketball, you know, is a little soft now. So dudes in the 90s, we got to stop the GOAT talk because them dudes in the 90s had to play a different brand of basketball. The league
Kelly Oubre said that?
Kelly Oubre said that. Go back and look at that.
No, but so like that brings me back to KG full circle. So KG recently said in a New York Times interview, and I don't know the motivation. I mean, I know he I don't know why he said this, but he said that he doesn't think that them guards in the 90s or the early 2000s, for that matter, could hang in today's game. They aren't, quote unquote, saucy enough. I could pull up the quote. It is out there. You know, and KG, somebody I have a tremendous amount of respect for. As you know what I mean? We all love KG. He's a baller, but I was just confused in what he was trying to say with that, because I don't believe that. Do you share that sentiment?
With all due respect, man, hell nah. Go back and look at some of these players. Rod Strickland is Kyrie Irving. You know what I mean? Clyde Drexler is somebody like Zach LaVine or something. If you can just go back and pull up some footage, like we've seen all this stuff before. You know, Rico Hines does a good job of showing you which players we've seen before. You know, obviously the human and sports performance has changed some of the things that some of these players can do athletically, and even some of the player development. You know what I mean? True. When I was a big dude, you know, it's power up, power down, jump hook over the right shoulder, jump hook over the left shoulder, up and under, and repeat. You know what I mean?
But you used to push it. You would get it and go 90 feet, and coach would be mad, but you go and do it, and hey, get a dunk and be in a big time moment in a big time game, and that's life. Live with it.
Hey, man, let me do this thing. After I done got my driver's license and I proved to you I can carry this thing and get it to where it needs to be going, you know, I was a pass first guy anyway.
You always be. Why you always be?
Because I took that from
C Web.
JR.
It was C Web. It was
I
like
took that
so
from
much.
JR.
It was
JR,
JR. Oh,
C-Web.
JR. I used to love that
I see
shit.
everything. I'm seeing
I used to
everything
love
out
that.
here.
Your handle.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I used to be like, oh my God, these dudes are sick. You JR 6'9", you 6'10", bringing it up full against Cal, against Arizona. It didn't matter in the tournament.
We was gonna get you a look with you waiting,
Spotting
sliding
up.
down from wing to corner. Yep, I'm ready. Come on with that thing. Come on with
Come
that
on,
thing. You know
Jay.
So it was just fun, man. And shout out Coach Herrick. That's why I messed with Coach Herrick, man, because that's why I went to UCLA, because Coach Herrick, he let you be you and he let you rock. Like, if you did it a couple times, it was a thing. It wasn't like, you know, hey, you know what I mean? He would get on you, but if you did it successfully, like a couple times, he gave you your driver's license and you was able to do those type of things.
Shout out to Andre Patterson.
Dre
Patterson is up in here. Jelani, talk about your recruitment to UCLA, your relationship with Coach Herrick, you know, when you first met him and, you know, just your first impressions of the man.
Man, you know, I committed my junior year. I committed the earliest time you can, I think at 6. Remember, I was always young. I think I was 15. So I played my whole senior year committed to UCLA. I committed the earliest I can. I was going to go to Cal, which would have been nice. I think it was down to Cal, UCLA.
I'm
Michigan.
Glad you didn't go to Cal. Golly, that would have been messed up for us.
Ed Gray, Yogi,
Sean Marks, Jelani, Ed Gray, Yogi, Jelani Gardner, Randy
Alfred
Grigsby, Sharif came the next year, Tremaine Folks, Tony Gonzalez, give me a break.
McQueen, you know, all these Randy Ducks.
Legitimate basketball players. Cal was a thorn in our side, even though you weren't there. But imagine if they would have had him. But yeah, sorry to take you off of that. So it was down to Cal, and then what pushed you over the top to UCLA?
Man, if you look at the UCLA's tradition, right? Because I've always thought that UCLA was a place that a person like myself, the people that look like us, can go express ourselves and be vanguards. Arthur Ashe, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jackie Robinson, you know what I mean? The list goes on. Even Bill Walton, you know, even though he wasn't a brother, you know what I mean? He was outspoken. It seemed to be the place where you can go get yourself a good education.
Yeah.
Win you a national championship.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? And be outspoken and be yourself. So that was my main selling point. Watching you guys doing that title run, learning the personality, seeing your silly ass on the side with the towels, dancing, I'll be like, yeah, see, if you can go do there, you can go do that on the sideline, and you know what I mean? And I was like, and I didn't even know you well at that time. I was like, but my G ain't even playing like that. But you know what I mean? He got the towel wrapper. That's a true family environment. You know,
it was. So, I'm surprised you looked at that like that. I'm glad to know that my towel thing. Actually, you looked at that favorably. That's dope.
I did. You was doing the butterfly. You know what I mean? You had the towel wrapped up. I was like, he out there gigging, man. See, that's when you go to gig. Yeah.
I was hitting it on the sideline of the national championship game. I was doing the butterfly. Y'all remember the butterfly dance? The butterfly.
He was killing the butterfly.
As the time went down in front of 38,000.
One leg. He was killing it.
I got to get that footage, dog.
We got to.
Go ahead, Lon. Sorry.
But nah, man, I'm a Bruin. Shout out Tracy Murray. You know what I mean? Tracy was in my ear. Played with Cam, his little brother. You know, I was around the Murray family a lot. Tracy Murray's been in my ear, on my ass. He's probably, you know, I'm about getting my degree to everything, you know what I mean? Everything under the sun. So shout out big bro Tracy Murray, you know what I mean? Watching him play against Michigan and all the, you know, with Donnie Mack and those dudes, you know what I mean? It was just like, Indiana. I was just in, you know what I mean? I took a couple of trips. I took a trip to Cal because I was like, hold on now.
Who hosted you at Cal?
Monty Buckley.
Buck? Oh, we forgot. Oh, Buck was a senior that year, huh?
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been there next year. But Buck, dude, I played in the CBA with Buck. Man,
great
Buck
dude. Great dude. He had game
6'6". He banged on Ed, dog. He banged on Ed. He banged on Ed.
Shut the whole thing down.
Ed, if you're watching, I have to bring it up, but he banged on Ed and Poly Pavilion, and it
It
was like
made Ed better.
it was ugly. It was ugly, and they
Yeah,
beat us. It was ugly
yeah.
that day. I hate thinking about that. So Buck took you on your visit, and so let me get this straight. That was the Todd
I
Bozeman
threw
era,
up on
right?
my visit too.
Where did they take you?
They took me out to the Bay. They had me off some MD 2020. I remember sitting at the breakfast. That's when you could play too. You could play on your visit. I remember sitting at the breakfast in front of Coach Bozeman, and he's like a couple seats down. I'm probably reeking the MD 2020, and I'm looking at the pancakes like,
Oh,
then he was like,
geez.
I don't even want to know. The breakfast is over. You know what I mean? Yada, yada. But, you know what I mean? That was young. I think I was like 15, 16 too. But I ain't going to throw nobody under the bus and say who got the MD 2020.
No, it's
But the
all good.
banana red fell in my hand.
The banana red. Was what I mean, why didn't you want to go to Cal? I mean, it seemed like a good spot, right? With Todd Bozeman, black
Yeah,
coach. I don't
black
know. I
coach.
mean, it was interesting back then. Why what mean I know you just told us, but like, was there something about Cal that you were not rolling with?
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
was it?
there was something about Cal that I was not working with. I just had this distinct feeling that something was going to go wrong at Cal.
Oh, intuition.
Intuition, there you go again. But yeah, exactly. I had the intuition. I'm like, this is cool. We Nike down from head to toe. You know what I mean? This is cool. It'd be good to go back to the Bay. You know what I mean? And spend some time up in the Bay. But then, ironically, what happened right during that time was, Jelani, the other Jelani, and his uncle, and all the stuff with Bozeman,
Gardner. Yeah.
and all the stuff ended up blowing up. So I think I made the right decision. You know what I mean? I'm a Southern California guy. The baby getting cold sometime.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I just
Yep.
decided to stick with that, initial feeling that I had junior year and just keep it going. And, Romar was there. Everything was right.
Yeah. So let's fast forward to the triple double versus Maryland. What got into you that day? Your first real college game? What or did we play already? I can't
We
remember.
played.
But it was like the first big game. We kind of played two warm up games, and then we're playing at the Anaheim Pond
Yeah.
against the University of Maryland that had some pretty good basketball players.
Yeah.
You came out with a triple double in blocks. Talk about just your mindset, the emotions going through your body as a freshman, turning it out, 17-year-old freshman, turning it out on national television.
16.
What?
16. I think I turned 17 when Pac-10 started. So
that December 6th? So you
Yeah,
that's
that
right.
might have been. That might have been freshly 17.
Yeah,
'cause I
yeah,
think
you might have been.
around-
It might have been on the day
Yeah, actually
that you
the
turned
7th or the
17.
next day. I was
Yeah.
turned. I remember listening to Tupac, and that's on my. You know what I mean? I remember listening to so much Tupac that I was turned.
What album? What album were you on back then?
I think might have been 95. Was it Me Against the World?
It was Me Against the World.
Yeah, I was turned. It was so many tears. You were so many tears on repeat.
Major album.
Repeat, subbing in the headphone. You know what I mean? On the way to the bus, and I remember going in, and there was I remember coming out for warm ups, and there was this couple, and they were sitting like courtside. And when I used to play, I used to act like everybody was talking stuff about me to get my stuff geeked up. But, I used to look down and be like, you know what I mean, looking at somebody. I don't like the way he wearing his socks, you know what I mean, or the way he ties. You remember that? I used to just look down at the other end, you know what I mean, watching people who was moving funny in the layup lines and be like, oh, I'm about to splatter that against the glass, you know what I mean, yada, yada, yada. But there was this couple there, and I was already turned off the Tupac. And I could see the dude nudging his date, wife, whatever it was. He was nudging her like, I think that's him right there. Because by then, they had heard about the freshman,
Sure.
yada, yada, yada.
Sure.
And I remember just turning and staring at them both, you know what I mean, looking at them.
Just silent.
Right? And then he's still tapping her like, yo, is he staring at us? You know what I mean? And I remember just staring at him like, all right, y'all came here to see me fail. That's just the type of stuff I was turned from the Tupac, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, y'all came here to see me fail. So the whole game, I was actually interacting with them. I would block and sneer at them. And then we started like laughing and smiling at each other. But I remember being so turned that game that Romar was like, 3 quarters. 3/4, Jelani, 3/4, and a Beanie Akizi. I was looking at Ro on the sideline like, I ain't 3/4ing, bro, for nothing. You know what I mean?
Playing behind. I'm playing
I'm
behind.
playing behind. And
letting you go up and then grabbing it off the glass, dog. Let's go.
They was pumping like they wanted to give it to Akizi. They was pumping, doing the little college thing, like trying to, and I remember yelling at whoever that was on the wing. I said, throw it in.
Just please.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, that's when you were in your bag. You were really in
my bag. And
it was unbelievable.
And he got me a shot fake and he got me up.
But you do your head up like somebody shot fake and you stay down, but you go, and then it was like, dude, I was like, oh, I can't believe this dude. You'd be like you do the shot fake with him. So I'd be shot faking and you go, yeah.
Hey, see, that's going to lead into one of my favorite moments in the NBA is when I actually stripped Akeem Olajuwon when we were playing at the Sonics. The clock was running down for a game. And now that you said that, when he went into the dream shake, I moved. I shook with him. You shook with him.
Yeah, that you were good at that. You were good at
that
mimicking
was like my
moves.
bag. Yeah, mimicking moves and motion. You know what I mean? It's you know what I mean. As the only child, I'm watching and moving everything. So I rather activate out of not a static situation, but my body already live. So I learned that. You know what I mean? I learned that stuff. So, but like you said, that's what I used to do. Like go with you. Slide. You want to slide fast? I'll slide fast with you. 6'10", you know what I mean? Just to be like, it ain't gonna. You better pass it. You know what I mean? So,
run, glide, run with the best of them, full court. So you dominate that game, kind of get on the radar. You know, you lead the nation in field goal percentage. I think you set the UCLA record at 69% that year.
Yeah, but I couldn't get it nationally because y'all wouldn't pass me the ball to qualify for as many shot attempts.
Well, it's still in the UCLA record books, and
could have been in the national record book.
You know how that goes, but we did lead the nation in field goal percentage
for several years,
for like 3 straight seasons. But I want to talk about and fast forward to what the hell happened against Princeton. What is your from your vantage point, what the F happened against Princeton?
All I remember is that all we heard was what was it? The 1 seed versus the so-and-so seed. The 1 seed versus all we heard. I remember me watching this shit like, man, I'm so tired. Like, we need to be careful, bro. They putting this thing out in the atmosphere. Like how, you know, we lose to the seed. They was talking about Pete Carell and that jive-ass Princeton offense with the
and how they've almost beat, you know, Georgetown, and they almost beat North, and they almost beat like 12 top programs on the almost. And here we come in defending national champions.
Yeah.
All on our high horse. We come in. I think Dollar's hands are hurt.
Yeah.
You know, we were kind of disjointed. I hurt my back the week before against Washington State. I had just dropped 30 on Washington, then hurt my back the first play of the game against doggone Washington State. Had to get acupuncture at Coach Herrick's house all week to try to get my back together, and I got it together, played against Princeton. But Lon, honestly, just from your vantage point, you know, what do you think happened that game? It seemed like that was probably one of the most just disjointed games on the big stage that we ever played together, and that wasn't like us.
Nah, we was always able to play through. Not that Coach Herrick was ever a bad coach, but we was always able to band together as a team and make adjustments on the fly because we had a lot of people with a lot of high basketball IQs out there. You guys were national champions. You had seen everything already. So that year, I just don't. The offense, the way that the dude shooting behind 2 picks at the top of the key, 2 and 3 picks. Like, we had never seen anything so jive and archaic before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
but go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying they were moving on those screens too. So
it seemed like it was set up for us to be in that jive ass situation where we could lose to Princeton and
5 seed, Ron. Yeah. And we were Pac-10 champs, 5 seed. Come on, bro.
Right.
We had to go out there. We couldn't stay
back. Why are they sending us out there?
They gave Arizona the 4 seed in the West, a second place out the Pac-10, bro.
That was when they hated us.
Because the non-conference, strength of schedule. Remember, they used to take the non-con and all that, and we kind of, you know, got on the run and came back from behind. But it was ludicrous. We got shipped out to Midwest region.
Yeah.
5 seed after being
Yeah.
the Pac-10 champion. Arizona stays in the West, goes through the pond. They can play in the pond as a 4 seed. They finished second place. Bunch of bullshit, no question.
Bunch of beer. I blame Reebok. If we was a Nike school, we would have been.
No, you do. That's the legit line. Do you remember when the Reebok situation got so bad that we would tape up the Reeboks, or we would wear Nikes taped up, or we just would do pretty much whatever we wanted? You remember that?
Yeah, we ended up getting a better deal for UCLA because we went rogue. You know what I mean? And did that. We was wearing the pennies and painting the Reebok vector over it. We was blacking out stuff. We was doing whatever we wanted to. There's some pictures out there of that stuff somewhere.
And the thing was, it wasn't us being rebellious. Reebok were hurting our feet. Dudes were developing corns, blisters, bloody feet after the game.
Shoes falling apart.
Come on, dog. I mean, we're not doing
Reebok owe us some money because I remember when we came in there and we redesigned some shoes for them. Remember when they came into Poly, they laid out a couple of models, and we was like, "These are whack because you need to be doing this and this."
Yeah,
and
man.
Them dudes, that UCLA team to check.
Yeah, man, they juiced us, man. Hey, Lon, the other thing too, I think it was maybe our next year. So we lose to Princeton, we come back, but the next year, we're kind of balling. Except Coach Herrick gets fired, right? So they bring in Lab. Talk about, and you're a Herrick guy, and obviously we ended up loving Lab, but at the time, Steve Lab was a 28-year-old head coach, first-time head coach. Talk about how you dealt with that transition from Herrick to Coach Lab.
I wasn't with it. I'm gonna be honest. I had already came from a high school where I went through, like, before I decided maybe my senior year or before one of the years they had been through 4 coaches in 4 years. You know what I mean? So I really wasn't with it. I love and respect Lab. I come to love and respect Lab, through some of the stuff that we went through. But I wasn't with it. You know what I mean? I came for Coach Herrick, was a national champion. You know what I mean? He seemed to be putting people in the pros, that there was a winning program. You know what I mean? He was a great man. He protected his players. He took my training wheels off that year, as you know, our legendary sit down that we had on the steps of Poly Pavilion, where he took my training wheels off, you know what I mean, and allowed a lot more line pushes. And in the preseason NIT, I was leading the team in scoring, rebounding, assists, blocks, and I might have been top 3 in steals, I believe.
Yeah,
so
you're a baller.
Yeah, it was just, finally, I was going to stay 4 years, so being able to, be an upperclassman with those 4 letters on my chest and really get to go out there and put my stamp on it, along with you, my brothers, and the brothers on the team, was a big deal. And to have Coach Herrick get fired in the way that he did, and some of the things that we went through, you know what I mean, in the midst of that, it just really, I love Coach Herrick.
And for me, it's going to be about saving all the gritty details of how Coach Herrick got fired, what he told us, for another pod. So you guys are going to have to wait for all that, but we are going to get into a full conversation about our senior year suspension, what went on behind the scenes, the whole 9. But that's going to be a whole nother pod. Sorry, guys. Sorry. No,
but you teased it a little bit, and JR with his Denzel Washington behind did a great job. I almost cried. I was like, man, you're gonna make me cry on the KG Live when he
talk about what he did. Talk about the part.
Yeah. I'll never forgive you. It was hard. And then he waited to the last possible minute, but that's who he was. We talked about this the other day. That's how JR was.
Yeah.
People didn't understand his personality and the way, you know what I mean, and his sense of humor. But you know what I mean, like you said, another topic.
JR, when he was doing that, it was like, I was kind of hoping, he'd be like, Chris, I forgave you. I'm a Christian. I was waiting for that line. And then when he hit me with the, no.
Yeah.
I was like,
I saw your face.
You see my face, Lotto?
Yeah.
Like, Jay, really? You don't forgive me, bro? I'm gonna start crying, dog.
Yeah, all this time, dog.
Damn, man. No, but JR got me. Thanks a lot, JR. You had me good. Lon, let's talk about that junior year, though. One of the top moments, I think, of your junior, or no, it was your sophomore. I don't know, my junior year, '97, was the day, or a couple of days before we're going to play Duke University. We had taken it upon ourselves to seek out a certain someone and get his permission to wear his shoes on national TV. Can you talk about who we sought out, and can you talk about that experience at that game, bruh?
I don't know why they sent us, or maybe we delegated ourselves.
I think we had a hookup. I
Yeah,
think
we
we were
had a
dealing with
hookup.
Sterling. I think we were dealing with Sterling directly.
Remember how well he treated us on the
Yeah,
low for
it
all
was
the
ludicrous.
dog-headedness that he did? I
Yeah.
mean,
So
he
Donald
did,
Sterling had us sitting courtside when we were in college at a damn
brought us
Clippers
down.
Philadelphia. We were up, and then he brought us down. Look, no shout
Hey,
out to Donald Sterling. No shout out to Donald Sterling. He is, he's whatever.
he is who
But
he is.
at that moment of our life, we didn't really give a F, and we definitely went downstairs.
Yep.
But go ahead, Lon. You tell the story.
Oh man, we go downstairs. We with Reebok, and the answers had just dropped. So we went down to the sports arena to get permission from AI to wear the answers.
The original joints, the one with the blue
joints
tip.
with the blue tip. Oh,
Please.
man, clean. You know what I mean? So me and Loco go to the game. We see was Derek there? Derek Martin's in the layup line, like looking at us like, how y'all get all the way down to courtside?
Yeah, we all underneath the basket.
Yeah, you know what I mean? We got to do that. We walked to the back after the game to go get permission from AI. Who do we see in the back, Loco? Who do we see in the back the very weekend of his demise? Nobody else but the notorious B.I.G.
And Little C's.
And Little C's. So we looking like we trying to play it cool. Like we live in LA. We see stars every day. Death row offices are in Westwood. We see it all. And we trying to figure it out. And I'm like, man, that's Biggie Smalls, man. I think I'm gonna go break the ice on this one and just go over here and fanboy it up.
Right.
So I remember walking up to Big, and I remember I think I said something too, like, hey, Mr. Smalls, man, or you know what I mean, hey, Mr. Biggie Smalls, man. And Lil C's slaps me in his chest. Pop.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, he know who you are. And I'm like, what? He was like, Big, tell him, Big. Yo, he know who you are. You the one that be putting your feet up on the rim. Remember Lil C?
Yo, that's the one he dunked with his feet up. That's the one. Biggie was like, yo, that's the one that dunked with his feet up.
Feet
and
up,
shit.
yo. Yeah,
his feet up and shit.
They be hollering, putting his feet up on the rim and shit.
You guys got to understand what that means. So when Lon would tomahawk two-hand on people, he's lifting his legs and trying to put both of his feet on the backboard on you niggas. Excuse my language. But that's what he would do. Okay? Yeah. It was ridiculous. This guy. Man. So Biggie told Lon that. I'm sitting there like, okay, Little C's asking me, where's the fire? He's trying to get a chronic sack. We're trying to blow. He's asking where this is at. I'm like, yo, I got it. And so, but look, so we doing that. And we in the Biggie mode. Then all of a sudden, DC come out, Derek Coleman.
Yep.
Chris, Lon, calling us first name basis. I'm blown away. I'm like, Derek Coleman knows my name. Derek Coleman knows my name right now. And so then Lon, and then after we hollered at DC, AI taking all day. Lon, just set it up on how
all day,
AI, bro.
All day. We took off. We waited for we watching everybody. AI came out in full AI-ness. His rookie year. We was like, I knew Chuck from Nike camp. You know what I mean? From Nike All-American camp. I played with Chuck a couple years. You know what I mean? So I had some. So we just ran him right up on him. Hey, Chuck, man. You know what I mean? Hey,
it was a quick run up too. It was like we was on him. We was on him.
Get out of here. We weren't trying to make it weird, man. We just want to get permission for so we can wear the answers.
Yeah, they said,
oh, they already hollered at me, man. Y'all run that. Yeah, hell yeah. You know what I mean? Y'all killing it. But you got to remember the time. The Lakers weren't good. The Clippers weren't good.
Dodgers, Angels, no football.
There was no football in Los Angeles. UCLA was it. You know what I mean? So after after we made a good run, we had some good some nationally televised games where we were spanking people. Like we was the man in LA right then. So for AI just to give us the blessing right away, I mean that was a fantastic memory.
And then so we rocked the Iversons against Duke, national TV, top 10 matchup. Duke comes in, we spank them at the house, ABC in front of 13,000, set a record on attendance. And then we were in the driver's seat for a 2 seed that year. We ended up making it to the Elite Eight. Should have probably won the championship that year, in my opinion. Minnesota beat us. They vacated that freaking Final Four years later.
Oh,
because they cheated on the academic side. So that's what time that was. But so that was our junior year.
Yeah.
going into that junior year summer, I felt like, with Barron coming, Earl coming, I thought, remember the runs and how our teams were playing? It was me, you, Toby, JR, and Barron. So that was our five, and we were playing against all the pro fives that the UCLA runs. Tracy Murray had his team. All these guys, all these pros. Everybody pro, and that's when we sort of gained our confidence in chemistry and cohesion, playing against them guys and actually getting wins and going undefeated at times for the whole day.
Yes,
and that's when I knew we had something special. Talk about just the feeling when you and I, literally, I guess, what was that, in August or September, we get suspended. So we ball all summer. We're on this high point of this might be the best team in the last 10 years at UCLA.
We was working hard too, bro.
We were running. We were on the track, in the dunes, weights.
All of that.
We were eating our diet right. We were eating our chicken and our rice every day, just locked in to protein shakes and creatine. Talk about, though, when, we got the call and, we were suspended. How did you feel that moment that you found out that you were suspended from the UCLA basketball team?
That was one of the lowest points of my life. Although it was bullshit. We got suspended in the summer. You know what I mean? Trying to do the right thing, going to summer school. I always thought that was some oddball-ish, but we knew what it was at the time. It was a situation with the AD and Coach Herrick at the end of the day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So we went through so much stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's why we're so close and tethered together and can finish each other's sentences, because I'm pretty sure that we didn't want to. It was more. We knew we made we had a lapse in judgment, but it was more, like you said, who we let down. Yeah. The JRs, the Tobys, the Barons, the Earls,
Lab, everybody.
Yeah,
Mom,
everybody.
Peaches, my people, your people.
Everybody. Moms, like you said, Peaches, everybody. It was just, and we were harder on ourselves than everybody else quietly behind the scenes. Remember how hard we were on ourselves, seeing Tim Kawakami up by the dorms, messing around by the trash can.
Yeah, I think dorms. It was messed up. Tim
Kawakami was weak for that.
It was messed up, man. And the fact that the UCLA, that they leaked it, and I'm not going to spin. We're going to have another pod about this. I want to keep positive vibes about UCLA. We're riding away, but real life is real life, and what happened. History is history.
Yep.
It could have happened differently. I wish that I would have been a better man as a senior, as the older guy, and just not led you sort of astray. I'm not saying that you were just following me, but hey, if I'm setting a different example for Jelani McCoy, then we probably don't get in the type of trouble that we get into. And it was my immaturity. It was my lack of. I was just really running wild at that time. You know how I grew up and how I was doing with my dad and hanging out. You know how it was, Lon. So I was a little wild. I didn't really listen to nobody. I thought I knew it all. And so I apologize for not being a better, bigger man and locking in and being, taking my responsibility as a senior at UCLA more seriously, wearing the 54 that you see behind me. I apologize as a national champion that I didn't conduct myself like as a national champion. And we make mistakes, but I still don't think, Lon, this is my last thing on it, and then we're going to move on and get to your pro career. I still don't think it was fair that it got leaked out to the public. It was no one's business. It could have been academics. No one has to know that we got suspended for what it was that we got suspended for. So you decide to leave the team. Again, we're going to get into that. You get drafted by Seattle.
Yeah.
Second round pick. One of the first picks of the second round. I think 33, right? 34?
33, was supposed to go in the lottery. Some, we won't name no names, but some people didn't do me justice when coaches talked to them, you know what I mean? Because they were new to certain situations. So my draft stock fell, you know what I mean? I was supposed to slotted to go in the lottery. I did some amazing things during the workouts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And would put me, would move my needle up higher. But ultimately, when I used to go into the interviews, they used to tell me some of the reports that they were getting back from some of the coaches at UCLA.
Wow.
So, ultimately, I felt 33.
We're going to have to get to the bottom of that.
We're going to have to get to the bottom
KJ Live's going to have to get to the bottom of that.
Yeah. Somebody knows something.
I'm going to start tagging people in this. Let's
But
tag
you know
it.
what I mean. It led to me, falling in the second round. But at least I did get drafted. You know what I mean.
Yes.
I remember walking out at my aunt's house. We were watching the draft. I remember just walking out and just walking outside. You know what I mean? Because I fell and watched a couple people that I didn't feel like as good as I could go higher than me in the draft. But you know what I mean. I made it, and the Seattle Sonics. Those 3 years were fantastic.
Talk about your playing with the veterans in Seattle. Was Mac 10 there, or was Gary there? GP was
Yeah,
Vin.
Vin, GP, Vernon Maxwell, Dale Ellis, Hersey Hawkins, Detlef Schrempf, who basically saved my career.
Why? How? Talk about Detlef.
So I don't know. After, that was the lockout. That was the year of the lockout. Toby, we gonna put it on blast if we so choose to. You know how it goes down here.
No,
Love you though.
you guys are sick. You guys are sick for this, dude.
That was the lockout year. I don't know if you remember me during the lockout year. I was the Black Dirk Nowitzki. I was working out with Ricky Davis 2 and 3 times a day. We was hitting shots from half court. You know what I mean? Remember, that's when I was shooting that thing. A lot of people, I was putting a lot of time and effort with Phil Weber and the medicine ball and the chair, 1,000 shots. Like, I had major jumpers. So by the time I got to Seattle after the lockout was done, one of the very first practices, Billy Owens was on the team. Detlef Schrempf, Gary Payton, Vin Baker, Odin Polynice. I said, there's just a collage of NBA veterans. I ended up dominating the practice. I remember dominating the practice, everything. I'm balling so much they let me do the line push thing. Like, smiling, like, oh, we got one. You know what I mean? Give him the ball, let him bring it up. Let's see what else he can do.
Who was the coach?
Paul Westphal.
Rest in peace. All right, continue.
Rest in peace and all that good stuff. You know what I mean? But Paul Westphal stops the practice, brings everybody in. Paul Westphal, he situates himself close to me too. Paul Westphal, you know what I mean? Paul Westphal, why is he blocking NBA players' shots? Why is he bringing the ball up the court?
Yeah.
Why is then he keeps doing this thing where he keeps touching me. Now I'm traumatized from the UCLA stuff and, what all the rest is going on. Right. I'm like, what exactly in the hell is going on here? Because I just remember, like, I was just balling with GP and everybody. Like, I was just completely dominating pros. Right. So he stops the practice. He does that little thing he does. He keeps tapping me, my temperature. It's like the cartoon shit. My thing. Yeah. I'm literally about to blow. And then he goes,
hater.
Yeah, he goes, hold up. Practice is open. Everybody go shoot free throws. And everybody's like, what the hell is going on here, bro? Right? And then he goes, I'm going to shoot free throws. I'm like still trying to process. I'm going to shoot free throws. He puts his hand on my chest with this stupid ass smile. Not you. You take this ball and you dribble around everybody else while they shoot free throws. What? Excuse me? Like, what part of the game is this? Like, this is an NBA player? So, bringing it full circle to Detlef Schrempf. Detlef, I'm looking at Paul, like, taking the ball, like here, my NBA career is about to be over. I'm about to flash on nobody. It's a wrap, After the UCLA stuff, now they're gonna have something on me for sure this time. Because I'm about to trip out. So Detlef Schrempf starts to walk with me. He goes, hey, Daddy, didn't I tell you to shoot free throws? Detlef Schrempf turns around and gives him the coldest 1,000-yard stare you have ever seen before in your life. This Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Ivan Drago.
He dies. Yeah, Ivan
Drago. He dies.
You know what I mean? Turn around and look at him. And then he was like, he literally went, like, and gave like this little laugh and went back. So Detlef Schrempf dribbles the ball around with me with the court. Hey, you're going to be here longer than him. You got it, kid. I wish I had half as much talent, you know what I mean, as you did. You need to put this together. And he starts showing me how I need to shape up my game because I'm trying to be like Detlef,
He's a real one.
Shoot a little bit, dribble a little bit.
6'10".
6'10".
Okay.
And Daddy didn't make too many mistakes, and he was cool as hell. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to rock like Daddy, but He talked me down. You know, he spent the whole time with me in the locker room. You know, after weights, you know, he was just always around me, and it probably literally saved my career because I was gonna go in on Westfall for sure.
And after, so Seattle, you kind of had that experience. You bounced around for another
Yeah.
8 years. What would you consider your best NBA experience from terms of just your personal success?
Man, I would have to say, you know, I started a lot of games in Seattle. You know what I mean? You know, over Vin Baker, but while he was going through his personal issues,
Yeah.
I got a lot to play some playoff minutes. You know what I mean? So that Seattle run was dope. I was actually a Sonic fan. I was a big GP fan. I love the culture of the Sonics. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was dope. But I
Wow.
would have to say, as short-lived as it was, because I decimated my body for injuries, I played through everything. With probably Toronto. One of my favorite coaches ever was Lenny Wilkins. He just let me rock out. There
Wow.
was no things about my character. You know what I mean? There was no, I didn't have to, you know what I mean? All I had to do with Lenny was speak to him. That was all he would want to do was me speak to him in the morning. He just asked me how I was. So I would have to say that year in Toronto, because after those 3 years in Seattle, bouncing around, I didn't get an opportunity to identify with any vets.
Yeah.
Right. So when I got to Toronto, I had Antonio Davis. And I don't know if you know Big Tone. You know, Tone is the reason why Al Harrington and you know those young kids in Indiana were able to flourish. Jonathan Bender before he got hurt. Ron Artest.
Mhm.
He was the force behind them. So when I got to Tone, I realized how much in those 3 years that I needed an Antonio Davis as opposed to a GP. You know what I mean? Tone was very nurturing, cool, you know what I mean, telling me exactly what I needed to hear, keeping my confidence up.
He's from
So,
Oakland, right? Is he from
yeah,
Oakland?
and he was from the town, you know what I mean? So we spent a lot of time lifting weights, working out with each other. So once I got my sign off by Tone, like, yeah, you got it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of my anxiety and quirks that happened through bumps around in the league, you know, it actually subsided. So shout out to Big Tone. That's my OG for life. You know what I mean? So it probably would have to be Toronto. And the city was cracking. T-Dot was cracking. Off the court was cracking. Hell yeah, T. Murray. You already know what time it is.
Yeah.
T. Murray's a Raptor. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
city was clean, food. You know what I mean? Hella stuff to do off the court.
The six
Yeah,
was
the
ridiculous.
six.
So 8 years in the league, you go overseas,
Mm-hmm.
talk about, you know, being away from the fam and how that went as far as overseas and what made you decide to ultimately shut it down.
Man, overseas was whack. I'll be honest. You
Why?
know what I mean? It was just coming from the NBA and going to the overseas. You played overseas. Overseas is about your team, the city, the living conditions. All the no, Michael Cage was he's a little bit older, Armstrong, but you know, shout out Michael Cage. But the living conditions were different. The food, being away from your family. This is before FaceTime and Skype and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you was really out there on your own.
Yeah.
I was going through some stuff mentally from bouncing around in the league and seeing people. You like, he playing?
So was it a thing, Lon, though, of it was like Tracy just chimed in with 2 practices. Was it a thing where the money wasn't enough to be having 2 and 3 practices a day? Did it come down to that?
Minutes?
Did it come down to that? I mean,
did.
you're not paying me enough to practice
You're
3
not paying
times a
me
day.
enough for 2 practices a day just to play me 15 minutes, or if I get a quick 10, you're gonna pull me out. You know how Europe and the way they do stuff over there is funny for the locals, and when you have NBA behind you, everybody thinks you're supposed to get 30 and 20 every night. But you know what I mean? You literally just drag your body into the ground for 11 months, 2 practices a day. Maybe you play 2 games a week if you're in the Euro League, but sometimes 1. So you're practicing 2 times a day, doing the silly, going backwards, regressing training, right? Doing silly cone drills, and you get these machismo European coaches that want to make you do silly 4th grade shit as a grown man, and it tends to wear on you if you play in the league. So that part was whack. The 15 minutes was whack. The pay was whack. You lose a couple games, they start being funny with the money. You know what I mean? Your payments don't be landing where they're supposed to. It's just a whack environment. You know what I mean?
So was there anything that you liked about overseas, Jelani McCoy?
I got my O up. I got my offense back up from being screened and rolling and rim getting in the dunker's position and all that other shit.
Nothing about the culture? Nothing about the city?
Oh, the culture was fantastic. you know how we get down. You know, learning cultures, the food, learning different languages. I immerse myself in different languages and the storytelling. Actually, overseas, listening to people's different stories and different languages with different ways of going about life was actually, you know, transitioning me into doing what I'm doing now. So that was the amazing part. But the basketball was whack. I'm gonna be honest. Shout out to everybody who did it and made it overseas. You
It's
did.
not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
It ain't for everybody. It wasn't for my ass. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and I started to have kids and leaving kids behind, and you know what I mean, and all that good stuff. So ultimately, I decided to, I think my last stop, I played in Oman. Then I was like playing in Mexico,
Damn.
in Guadalajara.
Damn.
You know,
You was
what I
in
mean?
Oman, but you was in Oman, bro.
I was in Oman.
Damn. I don't know what
One
you
of
were
the
doing
oldest
in Oman.
territories in the Middle East.
No, yeah, no, it's interesting, but they must have. Hopefully, they broke bread. Hopefully, they gave you like
Major.
50 racks for the month at least, because
Oh,
that's
no,
like
they
what's
came
going
on
on.
50 plus bonuses. We
Yeah, what's
took
going
a
on?
team. Yeah, they did
Yeah.
their little thing. They took care of me.
So here's the thing. So you and Tracy kind of share the similar experience overseas. Tracy
Mhm.
Murray played overseas too. So for a guy that didn't play in the league, like I look at an overseas gig as sort of my league. So my perspective is a little different because you guys already made the mountaintop.
Yeah.
So now somebody's willing to pay me some money to go play. I'm treating that like the NBA. It's just interesting though to hear the perspective because my dad, if you remember, after he played with Milwaukee, we went over to Italy for a year in a city called Udine. And he played over there, and they terminated him, and he was Marcus Johnson, but it was like this weird stuff going on. That's around the same time that Kobe Bryant and Jelly Bean were in Milan down the way. So we were over actually in Italy as Americans training with Italian first teamers at 13, 14 years old. Similar plight. Which Jalon, and here's the thing, we're gonna have to do a part 2 because I'm gonna leave you on this part 1 with some thoughts about Kobe. We're an hour 8 in, and the file becomes an issue. So
all good.
Talk about Kobe Bryant, your first impressions, your thoughts of him as a man, and your relationship with him, if you did have one.
Everybody think they got a relationship with Kobe right now, right? And as they should. If you had a moment with him while he was still on this earth, you should cherish that. We had the same agent, Orrin Tellem, at the time. You know what I mean? Kobe I was around Kobe a lot, at Orrin's office during the workouts, you know what I mean? Cool with his sister Shea, you know what I mean? So we had we had just a cool relationship. I'll tell you one story real quick about Kobe in the men's gym. Where, everybody knows to talk about Kobe's in the men's gym. I remember Kobe stopping me after the run and asking me how I was dunking off of the wrong leg. He literally made me take him, go through my flight. Because, I used to be able to wrong leg jump too. Yeah. So he used to take me through your flight pattern and where exactly are you hitting the floor where you can jump off the wrong leg. And I remember looking at him like, you bugging. You know what I mean? Like, is this a joke? And then I proceeded, after I showed him, look, Cole, I'll go over here, and then I just do my little thing. I don't know, something tells me to do it right here, and I just get off, and I get off the wrong leg. But he took that, and he started doing it right away. Yeah. He did it like 5, 10 times, and, throughout the Lakers, he was always vying for me to play, which I think kind of hurt me and helped me at the same time, him and Shaq. So he was always very supportive of me and behind the scenes, and even in some press conferences, he was like, yeah. And he was a down-to-earth, real brother once you get to know him. And I was just as much as competitive as Kobe. I'm nasty. I'll do whatever it takes to win. And you know what I mean? And I just thank, the stars and whoever, is up there for me getting a chance to actually win a title with him. You know what I mean? I could have went somewhere else for a guaranteed contract. He knew that. Shaq knew that. So they took care of me all year and make sure, I was getting groomed to, to stay there for a couple of years. But at the end of the day, I had to go, move on to Toronto, which was another great experience. But I'll never forget those experiences. A student of the game is a great human being at the end of the day. Don't let the Mamba facade fool you. You know what I mean? He had a big heart, you know what I mean? Especially to those he rocked with. And at the end of the day, if he wasn't about achieving greatness or achieving the betterment of the team, he probably didn't rock with you. And I don't have no problem with that at the end.
I don't blame it.
You know what I mean? So that's, my short story, Kobe. There's so many more. having played with him in the men's gym, be having the same agent, and obviously winning the title with him. But, that's my little short anecdote since we've run a long time.
No, I appreciate you taking the time to share that with us. We're gonna dive a little deeper into a bunch of other different subjects on part 2 of the Jelani McCoy interview. Right now, though, we're gonna have to say goodbye for the moment. But Lon, I just wanted to thank you for coming on for part 1 of this interview. You are always, the man. I can't wait to we do part 2, man. Keep up the great work, because we still have to talk about Media 34.
Yeah.
Your executive producing ventures, your own campaign with Joe Biden, the Biden-Harris campaign. I mean, there's a lot of fun things that I want to get into it with. So we got to figure out when we're going to jump on again, Lon, and then we're going to give the people what they want. But thank you, brother. I love you. And until the next time, it's going to be really soon.
KJ Live!
My dog, Jelani McCoy.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk. All right, baby.
Yep.